Welcome to Budget MTG Decks. All magic fun, all cards under $1. I'm David and this is my traveling companion Ruud.
Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about a fun and effective EDH deck you can build without breaking the bank. As with all our decks, there's just one additional build rule, and that is that all cards need to be under $1 in price, with the exception of the commander. Now today's commander is going to be an enchantment commander, which is highly focused on dealing 21 commander damage. So let's take a look at her.
Exactly, today we have Sigarda, host of Herons, for 2 colorless, a green and 2 white. So for 5 mana we get a 5/5 flyer. We call this an enchantment commander because we want to throw all these powerful enchantments on Sigarda and make her more powerful. Why? Because she also has hexproof, which means she's super difficult to get rid of. Her last ability is super awesome. It states that spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to sacrifice permanents. So they can't make you sacrifice Sigarda either. In a nutshell, Sigarda can only be removed by mass removal. And you're going to be using her to deal 21 points of damage because she's going to be pumped so heavily with all these enchantments. So what kind of cards do we need to make this work?
We have 11 enchantment creature spells from the Herons block. We have 20 enchantment aura spells, 10 enchantment synergy to make us draw some additional cards and stuff like that. We have 18 utility cards, we're going to take a look at them later, and of course we need 40 lands in this deck.
Yeah, so what would be the ideal turn progression for this deck?
Well, turn 1 we will use some mana ramp, turn 2 maybe some additional mana ramp to be able to cast Sigarda quite early in the game. Turn 3 we will use some enchantment synergy to set up the game for a later state. Then turn 4 we will cast Sigarda herself. Turn 5 we will have some enchantment aura spells, and turn 5 onward we will be casting even more enchantment aura spells on Sigarda.
Exactly, she is going to be huge by the end of the game. Let's have a look at the enchantment creatures first. We divided the enchantment creatures into bestow creatures and creatures that give us some kind of special ability. Actually, what is bestow, Ruud?
Well, bestow means you can cast the creature for its normal cost, as being the creature it is, but you can also cast it for its bestow cost, which is usually a little higher in cost, but then it becomes an aura attached to a permanent you control. Well, in this deck, Sigarda, and then it gets all the abilities from the creature, and it gets its power and toughness added as the enchantment.
Yeah, pretty sweet. So at the beginning of the game we could use these creatures, cast them just as creatures and have a little bit of a nice board state, and later on we can use that bestow cost to start pumping Sigarda with awesome abilities and awesome additions to power and toughness. Let's have a look at the first guy. Here we got Hopeful Eidolon for 1 mana. We get a 1/1 guy with lifelink.
Yeah, so Sigarda will get lifelink and +1/+1 if you bestow it on her. The next one is Leaf Crown Dryad. For 2 mana it's a 2/2 and you can bestow it for 4 mana. It also has reach.
Yeah, Ghostblade Eidolon. Now this is a great one. For 3 mana we get a 1/1 double strike. You think, 1/1 double strike for 3 mana, nothing to write home about. But it has a bestow cost of 6, and then that means we can make Sigarda +1/+1 and double strike.
That's nasty.
Pretty sweet.
Then we have Noble Quarry. It's 3 mana, a 1/1 unicorn, and all creatures able to block this Noble Quarry have to do so. It also has a bestow cost, which is 6 mana, so all creatures need to block Sigarda, which can of course, because she has flying.
Yeah. I think a lot of unicorns in Magic talk a lot of smack to other creatures because other creatures always want to block them for some reason. I don't know what it is.
It's pretty weird.
I think so too. Next card is Observant Aslid. For 3 mana we get a 2/2 and it has vigilance.
And you can bestow it for 5 mana.
5 mana, correct.
Then we have Boon Setter. Do you say it like that?
Satyr.
Yeah.
I say Satyr. Yeah. You say Satyr, I say Satyr.
It's 3 mana with flash, and it is 4/2, so you can bestow it for 5 mana and Sigarda gets just +4/+2. Of course you can cast it for its flash cost, which means you can cast it as an instant.
Yeah, super sweet. This is a really powerful card. It gives an insane bonus. It doesn't give any abilities, but it can be used as a surprise. Very, very nice. Boon Satyr does great work. Next card is Heliod's Emissary. For 4 mana we get a 3/3 with a bestow cost of 7. Pretty steep. I like to cast this card just as a regular guy because he does good work. His ability is that whenever Heliod's Emissary or enchanted creature attacks, you get to tap target creature your opponent controls. So usually there's not going to be a lot that can block Sigarda effectively, and if Heliod's Emissary attacks or is bestowed upon Sigarda, it's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, especially maybe your opponent has something with dead touch, for example, flyer. You don't want a dead touch flyer to block Sigarda.
No, not at all.
Then we have Nylia's Emissary. For 4 mana, it's a 3/3 trample creature, and it has a bestow cost of 6, so Sigarda will have trample. Pretty nice.
Yeah, actually, this is a card you really want to have in your hand because giving Sigarda trample is huge. She always want to be, people are going to want to block her with 1/1 flyers or 1/1 reachers or something like that. And Nylia's Emissary makes sure that most of the damage is going to go through. Then we come to the last one, that's Celestial Archon. For 5 mana, we get a 4/4 flying first strike with a bestow cost of 7.
Yeah, mostly you will be casting it for its normal cost, but well, if you bestow it, it also helps a lot against dead touch, of course.
Yeah, that's right.
Then we have the Aegis of the Gods. For 2 mana, it's a 2/1 creature, enchantment creature, but it states that you have hexproof, which can be pretty handy against discard abilities or maybe burn.
Exactly. That's one of the creatures that gives us a cool ability, and then we go to the last one that gives us a cool ability. That's Archetype of Courage. For 3 mana, we get a 2/2, and all our creatures have first strike, and all our opponent's creatures that had first strike can't have it. They can't gain it. We have all the first strike.
Nice.
Very nice. All right, those are the enchantment creatures. Let's have a look at the enchantment auras. We divided the enchantment auras into Umbras, Trample, Protection, and Boost auras. Let's have a look at Umbras first. What is an Umbra actually?
Well, it gives a creature totem armor, which means that if the creature would be destroyed in any way, instead you get to remove all damage and only destroy the aura, the totem armor aura. So this means that Sigarda won't die when it's destroyed, only the aura gets removed.
Yeah,
Pretty nice.
And on top of that, if you've got 2 instances of an Umbra on Sigarda, or 2 instances of total armor on Sigarda, and she gets destroyed, you can pick one of the 2, and the other one will still stay on her. Pretty sweet, insane protection. Let's have a look at an example. The first one is Hyena Umbra for 1 white, gives creature +1/+1 and first strike.
The second one is Spider Umbra. For just 1 green, it gets +1/+1 and reach. You don't need to reach, just a totem armor.
Exactly. Then we'll go to one of my favorite totem armor cards, Snake Umbra. For 3 mana, creature gets +1/+1, and whenever it deals combat damage to opponent, you draw a card. Awesome.
It's pretty nasty drawing some additional cards.
True.
Then we have Boar Umbra. For 3 mana, the enchanted creature gets +3/+3. Just some buff and totem armor.
Yeah. Then we go to the last one of the Umbras. That's Mammoth Umbra. For 5 mana, gives the creature +3/+3 and vigilance. Nice for if you want to block with Sigarda later on. Then we get to the trample cards. Sigarda is going to be massive, and people are going to want to block her with very small flyers or very small reach creatures. We want to make sure she gets through with her massive amounts of damage. So we have some trample cards. The first one here is Tiger Claws. For 3 mana, target creature gets +1/+1 and trample. Sweet. We can also cast this as flash, so whenever we want, as a surprise.
Then we have Armadillo Cloak. For 3 mana, enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and trample, and it has, whenever it deals damage, you gain that much life. This is not lifelink, it's essentially the same, but it means that if you also have another card which gives a lifelink, you will essentially have double lifelink.
Pretty sweet. It's actually the same as Unflinching Courage. Oh, exactly the same card.
Then we have Gaia's Embrace. For 4 mana, enchanted creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample. In addition to that, you can regenerate Sigarda for just 1 green mana.
That's so cheap for regeneration, huh? So cheap. Then we go to Gigantiform. For 5 mana. It makes Sigarda an 8/8 with trample. So it essentially gives +3/+3 in trample.
Yeah, it's just +3/+3 in trample, but that's enough for us.
Exactly.
Then we have Epic Proportions. For 6 mana, enchanted creature gets +5/+5 and trample. And it also has flash, so you can cast it as though it was an instant.
Yeah, and then we go to the last one, that is Mythic Proportions. For 7 mana, seems like a lot to put into an aura, but it gives the creature +8/+8 and trample. This aura is going to finish games real quick. Those were the trample cards. Sometimes people are going to want to block with death touches or things that are going to be so huge that even Sigarda is not going to be able to get through. For that, we got the protection cards. First protection card is Unquestioned Authority. For 3 mana, target creature has protection from creatures, and we get to draw a card. Just to replace it.
Very nice. Quite the same as Pentarch Ward. For 3 mana, you get to choose a color, so it's only protection from 1 color, and you also draw a card when it comes into play.
Yeah, but it's definitely, you just pick the color of whatever creature was going to block her, and then you get through every time. Then we go to Holy Mantle for 4 you actually want to say like Holy Mantle this card, because it's so good. For 4 mana, target creature gets +2/+2 and protection from creatures.
Then we have Spectral Ward for 5 mana, enchant a creature, it gets +2/+2 and protection from all colors. This does not remove auras, which comes in pretty handy.
Super sweet, absolutely. You definitely want to throw this on Sigarda after she's already been pumped by a couple of awesome auras. Those are going to be all the auras that are going to help Sigarda get through. Sometimes we just want to pump Sigarda and give her a boost to her power, and one of those great cards for that is Ethereal Armor. For 1 mana, target creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control and for strike.
Then we have Ancestral Mask. For 3 mana, enchanted creature gets +2/+2 for each other enchantment in play. So unlike the Ethereal Armor, this also counts enchantments from your opponents.
Yeah, and of course, at the beginning of the game, if we have this card, we're going to make sure we put all those enchantment creatures on the battlefield. So we've got, this thing's going to pump Sigarda like crazy. Then we go to a very simple one, Battle Mastery. For 3 mana, target creature has double strike.
Then we have Sage's Reverie. For 4 mana, you get to, when it enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card for each aura you control that's attached to a creature. And the enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each aura that's attached to a creature. So only the auras on your creatures.
Yeah, but still, draws you cards and boosts Sigarda if you cast an aura. What is not to love? Those are the enchantment auras. Now let's go have a look at the enchantment synergy cards. We divided the enchantment synergy cards into creatures that benefit from having a lot of enchantments on the battlefield, draw cards, so when we cast a lot of enchantments we're going to be able to draw cards, and extras, which give us other benefits when we have a lot of enchantments. Let's have a look at the creatures first. We have, first one is Yavimaya Enchantress. For 3 mana we get a 2/2, and Yavimaya Enchantress gets +1/+1 for each enchantment in play. So also your opponent's enchantments.
Then we have Graceblade Artisan. For 3 mana you get a 2/3, which gets +2/+2 for each aura attached to Graceblade Artisan herself.
Yeah.
So this means only auras on, well, this card. It's a little less good than the Yavimaya Enchantress, but still good enough.
This is maybe a nice secondary target for Sigarda, instead of Sigarda. And then we go to Aura Gnarlid. For 3 mana we get a 2/2. Creatures with power less than Aura Gnarlid's power can't block it, so it's going to be unblockable real fast. Because you're going to be, it's going to be growing, because Aura Gnarlid gets +1/+1 for each aura on the battlefield, same as the Yavimaya Enchantress. Except the Yavimaya Enchantress is enchantments, and Aura Gnarlid's only auras. Important distinction.
Then we have the draw cards. First off we have Verduran Enchantress. For 3 mana you get a 0/2, but that's not that important. It states that whenever you play an enchantment spell, doesn't matter what kind, you may draw a card. That is huge with all these enchantments.
Yeah, then we go to Mesa Enchantress. It's exactly the same, except instead of paying 2 green and a colorless, you have to pay 2 white and a colorless.
Yeah, then we have Eidolon of Blossoms. For 4 mana, it's well, also a creature, 2/2. Whenever Eidolon of Blossoms itself or another enchantment enters the battlefield you control, under your control, you get to draw a card.
Yeah, so it's actually a little bit better than the Mesa Enchantress and the Verdura Enchantress, but you're paying that extra mana for it. Then we go to the extras. The first one is Oath of the Ancient Wood. For 3 mana we get an enchantment that when it comes in you get to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. And whenever you cast an enchantment from that point onwards, you're also going to be able to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. Not bad.
Then we have Ajani's Chosen. For 4 mana we get a 3/3 creature, and whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, you get to put a 2/2 white cat token onto the battlefield. It also states that you may put the enchantment aura on that cat, but you won't use that.
Yeah, it's only also if it's an aura, and you're probably going to want to throw it on, if it is an aura, you're going to want to throw it on Sigarda anyway, but you know, a little 2/2 guy to block, not bad.
Nice.
Celestial Ancient is next. For 5 mana we get a 3/3 flyer, and whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature. So it's basically the Oath of the Ancient Wood on a stick, and it's also pumped up.
Yeah.
Even more powerful.
Then we have Umbra Mystic. It's a 2/2 creature for 3 mana, and it states that all auras attached to permanents you control, so even lands, have totem armor, so even more totem armor.
Oh my god, you got this, plus a couple of Umbras attached to a Sigarda and other enchantments, then it's game over. Nobody's going to be stopping her. Alright, well, those were the enchantment synergy cards. Let's have a look at some other utility cards that are going to help us flesh out the rest of this deck. We divided the utility cards into defense cards. These are the cards that are going to keep us alive long enough so we can destroy everybody else on the battlefield. Removal cards so we can get rid of those problem creatures. And mana ramp so we can accelerate into Sigarda and pump her up to epic proportions real quick. Let's have a look at the defense cards first.
First off, you have Aurification. You get an enchantment for 4 mana. It has a lot of text, but it basically states that when a creature deals damage to you, you get to put a gold counter on it. It will become a wall, so it can't attack anymore. It also states that when Aurification leaves the battlefield, all gold counters are removed, so the creatures will become normal again.
Yeah, then we go with Martial Law. For 4 mana we get an enchantment, and that's at the beginning of your upkeep. Every upkeep, you're going to be able to detain target creature. So until the beginning of your next turn, that creature won't be able to attack, block, or use its activated abilities. So you can use every one of your upkeeps. Super sweet.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
Then we have Reverence. For 4 mana you get an enchantment which states creatures with power 2 or less can't attack you. So, well, this is basically against token decks.
Yeah. And the last one we have Sphere of Safety for 5 mana. Creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless they first pay X mana, where X is the number of enchantments you control. And of course it's an enchantment deck, so you can have loads of enchantments. They're going to have to pay loads and loads of mana just to attack with one creature.
Yeah, so for each creature they have to pay X. That's a lot of mana.
Yeah. Then we go to the removal cards. The first one is Soul Snare for 1 white. It's just enchantment goes on the battlefield, but then at any point in time we can pay a mana and sacrifice it, and then exile target creature that's attacking you or a planeswalker you control.
Then we have Pacifism. For 2 mana you can enchant a creature, and that creature can't attack or block anymore.
Yeah, still uses activated abilities, but pretty much you put this on a fatty that's meant to be attacking, and it shuts it down entirely.
Yeah.
Then we go to Journey to Nowhere. For 2 mana, when it enters the battlefield, we get to exile target creature. When Journey to Nowhere leaves the battlefield, that creature comes back to its owner's control.
Then we have Suspension Field. For 2 mana, you get to exile target creature with toughness 3 or greater until Suspension Field leaves the battlefield.
It's exactly the same actually, but yeah, you do have to get a really tough creature. But you're going to be exiling tough creatures anyway. Then we go to Oblivion Ring for 3 mana. This is also exactly the same, except you can exile target non-land permanent. So it gives you super great versatility and freedom.
Then we have Vow of Duty. For 3 mana you get to enchant a creature, and the creature gets +2/+2 and vigilance. But the creature can't attack you or a planeswalker you control. So you have 2 options. You put it on Sigarda and make her have +2/+2 and vigilance. Or you put it on a problem creature of your opponents, and then that creature can't attack you anymore, only your other opponents.
Exactly. They can still block, obviously, but if that's something they wanted to smack you in the face with, they can't do that anymore. Same actually as Vow of Wildness. For 3 mana, target creature gets +3/+3 and trample, but also can't attack you or a planeswalker you control. This is actually great also for Sigarda, because it also gives the trample, which Sigarda wants.
Very nice. Then we have Cage of Hands. For 3 mana you get to enchant a creature, and it can't attack or block anymore. It also has, you can return it to your hand for 2 mana.
Yeah, so it's basically a pacifism that you can move around should you want to. Let's have a look at the mana ramp cards. The first one is Abundant Growth. For 1 green, we get to enchant a land, and that land can tap to basically give a mana of any color, and it also draws you a card when it comes in. This one's actually not mana ramp, but it is mana fixing.
Yeah, it's fixing. Then we have Wild Growth. For 1 green mana you can enchant a land, and it produces an additional green mana. So 2 mana from 1 land.
That is ramp right there. Then we go 1 with Nature. For 1 mana, this is an aura, which we put on a creature, and then when that creature does combat damage to an opponent, we get to search for a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield, taps, and then shuffle your library. Ooh, if you put this on Sigarda and she's got trample, craziness.
Then we have Fertile Ground. You can enchant a land, and when it's tapped for mana you get to get an additional mana of any color to your mana.
Yeah. Then we go to Overgrowth. For 3 mana. We enchant a land as well, and then when it's tapped for mana, its controller adds 2 mana to his or her mana pool. So we're going to be getting 3 mana from 1 land.
Then we have Verdant Haven. For 3 mana you enchant a land. You also gain a life when it enters the battlefield. Or
2
you gain
even.
2 life.
Wow,
Yeah.
big difference.
And when it taps for mana, you get to put an additional mana to your mana pool.
Yeah. Well, those are the utility cards. Naturally, we cannot cast any of these spells unless we got the proper land distribution, so let's have a look at the lands. We divided the lands into 16 plains, 14 forests, and 10 utility lands. Rui, tell us what the first utility lands are.
First off, we have Arctic Flats, Elfheim Palace and Selesnya Guildgate. They all do the same. They give you either green or white mana, but they come into play tapped.
Yeah, very similar to Blossoming Sands and Grey-Pelt Refuge. They're exactly the same, except they also give you 1 life when they come in.
Then we have Selesnya Sanctuary. This is also some card advantage. It enters the battlefield tapped, but you need to put a land back into your hand. But it gives you a green and a white mana, so 2 mana from 1 land.
Yeah, so you're going to want to cast this, you don't cast this because it's a land, but you want to put this on the battlefield after you've already tapped a land for mana, so it's not so bad that you return it back to your hand. Then we go to Vivid Meadow and Vivid Grove. These come in tapped, they give us a white and a green mana respectively, but it also comes in with 2 counters on them, and you can remove a counter and tap the land to give us mana of any color.
Yeah, so this is not in addition to the normal mana it gives.
Good point, yeah.
Then we have Terramorphic Expanse and Evolving Wilds. These also do the same. You get to put them into play, sacrifice them, tap them and sacrifice them, and you get to search your library for a basic land of your choice and put it into play tapped.
Yeah, pretty good. Well, those are all the lands. Let's have a look at the conclusion. In conclusion, this deck is a lot of fun. I mean, Sigarda is massive. You pop her down, she's 5/5 flying, hexproof, and you can't sacrifice her or any of your other creatures or permanents. She's impossible to get rid of. On top of that, if you throw some protection on her, you throw totem armor on her, she's not going anywhere. Absolutely not. So what's more than a safer place than to put all your auras on top of her? She's going to grow to epic proportions. You're going to be attacking with trample or protection or whatever, and you're going to win games super quickly.
Yeah, this is also very nice for beginners, of course. It's pretty straightforward. It's not too difficult to play. And what's just more fun for them to have a commander, give her all kinds of stuff like totem armor, protection from all colors. See your opponents stumble over each other because they just can't get rid of the commander.
Yeah, you can check out the deck list below. On top of that, it's pretty affordable, right?
Yeah, it's just below $35. We did the math on magiccards.info. This is a site that compares magic prices from a lot of shops. So you can really buy this deck for below $35, and that is including all lands and the commander.
Yeah, we're going to ask you guys right now to take a minute and press that subscribe button, because if you press it, it lets us know we're doing a good job. It helps us make more videos, and it's also a way that if you press that, then me and Rick are going to give you a virtual hug because we really appreciate it. On top of that, we also have a question of the day, don't we?
Yeah, today's question is, if you would want to build a different enchantment deck, who would be the best commander? You can leave your comments you can leave your answer in the comments below.
Yeah, thanks for watching. I'm David.
And I'm Ruud.
And actually join us next time as we have a very special Dragon Triangle deck. Which